Hello everyone. We are taking a look at the Bandai First Order TIE Fighter. Now one thing I want to say about this is it's not the Special Forces TIE. The Special Forces TIE is what you see in the latest movie that Finn and I can't remember his name for anything, that the two guys stole off the Star Destroyer. That was a Special Forces TIE. This is a regular TIE. Okay, there is a difference in them, and at first I thought Bandai had a major fail on their hands. That didn't look anything like the movie. Well, the one you saw in the movie when they escaped was not this TIE fighter, so that explains a little bit. This is a common, everyday TIE fighter. They stole a two-seater. Okay, I'm going to set it up next to a regular TIE fighter because there are some differences, and you're going to see them fairly quickly. Okay, so let's open the box on this one first. Let's see what we have in our packaging. Okay, now first off, you notice the, I call them the solar panels. Some people have corrected me, they're heat dispersion panels. Okay, you'll notice that they're molded in a grayish color. We have two pilots, a standing figure and a seating figure. Seated. The panels look to have good detail on them. This is a preliminary look through. We'll get better in a minute. We have Star Wars Base 11 here. Okay. We have the rest of the TIE, and this looks pretty standard TIE, except there are no engines on the back. That's interesting. Okay. And there's going to be a few differences here and there. We'll take a look in a minute, and I'll open the plastic and we'll take a look. The ends here are very different. I'll do some zoom ins too so we can see it a lot cleaner. And another departure. We only have stickers this time. It does not look like there's decals. Oh, decals are in the other bag. I'm blind. And we have the directions. There isn't a lot to this guy because, again, this isn't the Special Forces TIE. I have the Special Forces TIE on order. It will be here soon because its release date is pretty soon. Okay? Now, one thing I've noticed, Bandai has slowed down the release dates since the ban happened, since they're not allowed to leave the country. But, you know, that's just a comment on my part. Okay, right here, this is step 5. Is putting it on the base, so there's not many steps to this little guy. Okay, now taking a look, you have your typical fold-out Bandai instructions. You build the cockpit first. There isn't a lot to the cockpit. Okay, now this is where we could benefit from a zoom in and a camera reposition, it looks like. There we go. Just a little bit of a reposition of the camera. I'm having to reach around the tripod. The camera's actually up above my head, believe it or not. Anyhow, we have the cockpit interior first. It gets assembled together there with the interior ball coupled to the exterior parts. And we have here the exterior going together. There are some differences on the exterior. Again, we're going to sit down and pull out parts and compare. It does come with clear parts and the option of painting and masking or non-painting and masking. So you have two choices there. Okay, the solar panels are typical. You just snap them together. There's an exterior brace I know is not on the TIE Fighter because I built a very detailed 1/48 scale TIE Fighter, so I know this thing very well. Again, the other side, and you put the wings together. If you weren't painting this one, literally, you could be done with this one pretty fast. Okay, let's take a look at the interior, because the interior, and these are color photos, so I'm going to zoom the camera in even more. Let's just hope I don't forget to de-zoom it. When you take a look at the interior here, I'll reposition too. So we're better on the screen. There we go. When you take a look at the interior there, it is very different than a standard TIE Fighter. Okay, very different. Your standard TIE fighter has color backdrop behind the pilot everywhere. He doesn't have all these screens around him on either side. And the joystick in the center is very different too. So the interior is very new. Okay? And the back doesn't seem to have the ion propulsion engines. So no idea what this thing's being driven by. It looks different. The TIE Pilot is slightly different. They have the duckbill look to them. Okay, that's what I call it. So we got our directions here. We've gone a look through them. Let's take a look at the plastic now. So I got to open the baggies. We'll go ahead and start with the baggie with the solar sails and the clear parts. Okay, now I'm going to leave the camera zoomed so we can take a look at this. There's a color washout going on right now too for some reason. Let me see if I can fix that a little bit. We got natural daylight coming through the windows. That's what our backlighting is. Now, I don't see any tide marks on here. Ah, there's a tide mark right there. The only way to get rid of that's painting. You're not going to get rid of that any other way. You're going to have to paint this one if you want it to look good. I mean, it's going to look decent without paint. Don't get me wrong. But I got a tide mark right there. That's where the plastic flowed in and didn't flow in smoothly. You can see it's kind of ring-shaped. Okay, either that or it's an imperfection in the mold. I have to see a couple of reviews to see if that's the case. Okay, going up to the clear interior parts now. They look standard tie-ish to me. And here's the interior tub, it looks like. And these might be those screens, because the screens were white. Okay. Oh! Fail! Hit the floor! But those screens were white on the direction, so you're going to paint whether you want to or not on this one, just to get it to look right according to what they give you in the directions. Water slide decals are in this bag. They're pretty standard fare there. They do give you some for the glass, so if you want to try to do the glass, you can. I'm one of those who would rather paint that, even though I know it's a pain to paint it. Just the way I am. I don't know why I'm putting that back in the bag. I'm about to take it back out for the TIE Fighter. We start pulling out the TIE Fighter and taking a look there. Okay. Here's the wing detail. Now, this is the inner wing. Okay, and I'm only looking at the center of the inner wing and the outer wing. I'm only looking at the center of them because, well, that's where most of the detail is. Okay, it looks similar to the TIE Fighter, and it's the typical Bandai, really crisp and clean. Okay, these braces here, well, that's not on a TIE Fighter. It's on the First Order TIE Fighter only. And our last piece of plastic. I'm not going to show you the Star Wars Base 11. Yeah, I will. Since I mentioned that, let's pull out the Star Wars Base 11. There's your Star Wars Base 11. It's a sandy base because of Jakku. Okay, that was fun. That's just typical. Here's our Star Wars Effect Part 1. That's what that's labeled. Your nice green laser glowy things. I didn't show the pilots. I'm going to go back and show the pilots really well. Okay. These are the braces that go on the whole of the tie. And again, I know that's not typical for a tie. Here's the rear detail for the tie. And if you take a look at that, you will notice the ion engines are missing. Okay. So there is a difference there. The twin lasers at the bottom of the front are further apart than they are in a standard tie. And they look to be mounted flush with the hull. No, they are not mounted flush with the hull. I have to go back and look at the directions for that. So there's probably some detail missing. I'm missing some detail parts. I mean, they're all here. Okay, there's the back of the interior, which looks nothing like the normal TIE. They cleaned it up a lot. They got rid of all that weirdness in the normal TIE with the red glowing tiles everywhere. You want to light this model? It won't be hard. You're just lighting laser cannons. That's the fun part for this one. It's the only lighting on it as far as I can tell. 2 little laser cannons on the front. Alright, so there's that part. Let's go back and get the pilots back out of their bag and let's take a look at them because I kind of glossed over those. Okay? Ooh, upside down. We can fix that. So there's the seated pilot and the standing pilot, and I think I can actually get a better zoom on. Nope, we're at full zoom right now. Unless I lower the camera, that's it. Okay? So there you go. There's a good look at the First Order TIE. Now, what I'm going to do is open up the regular TIE by Bandai, and we're going to do some side-by-sides with it. Okay? Ooh, I never opened the bag on the regular TIE. Interesting. Thought I have. Well, I'm opening the bag on the regular TIE right now. There's a lot more parts on the regular TIE. Here's the regular TIE from episodes 4, 5, and 6. There's the back, and there's the front. I'm going to zoom it back some so we can take a look at side-by-sides. Okay, that tight of a zoom doesn't let me side-by-side them. Yeah, there's definitely more parts in the regular TIE than the First Order TIE. Now, what we have is the front of the First Order, of the regular TIE right there. The First Order TIE is right below it in black. Let me move things a bit and get things straightened up. There we go. They're right next to each other. The regular First Order TIE, I mean not the regular, the First Order TIE is going to be smaller than the regular TIE. And let's compare the backs now. Give me a second. There we go. That's easier for me. I can get parts lined up better. There's a look at the regular TIE versus the First Order TIE with the engines. I mean the back. Now you'll notice we have the ion engines here, and they're missing here. Okay? And yeah, there are some insert parts for the weaponry on the advanced TIE. I mean on the First Order TIE. Okay, now let me get another part out from the TIE fighter. The interior of the TIE fighter is very, very different. We're just going to take a look since I have this open. Bandai did give a full interior for the regular TIE. Okay? Here's the interior of the regular TIE. You can see the triangle pattern shape. Okay? Inside there. You can see it. It's very, very different than what you have on the First Order TIE. Okay? And flight controls for the regular TIE. There's this little crazy thing here with a joystick there. That's also part of the interior of the regular TIE. Okay? I'm dropping things on the floor again. The seating arrangement was a bit different on the regular TIE as well. You just had kind of a bench. It's right there. Okay? So there's the regular TIE. Now let's take a look at the solar, not solar panels, cooling panels or solar panels. I painted mine like they were solar panels. I thought that's what they were, so that's how I painted them. They look really cool because they're shimmery and stuff like solar panels would be. But that's not what they really were. Now here, when I get this finally out of the bag, if it'll cooperate, you're going to see that this is a much larger kit than the First Order TIE. Okay? So here we go. First Order inner. Oh, and I've only got outers here, so let me flip the outers. Here's the regular TIE outer panel. Okay. Here's the First Order TIE. Now, it is shorter. Okay. It is smaller. Now, one of the things Bandai did on the first run, and I think they learned and went the fine molds route on the second run, is on the first run, the panels connecting the bottoms here are separate. So you have a lot of pieces to put together there. Okay? On the First Order TIE, that's all one piece. Now the detail in the center here, not quite the same, but close. You can see that looks like a wheel spoke right there. On this one, it is pretty much the same, just it's lacking a little detail that we have on the old school TIE Fighter. The last thing I'm going to show you from the old school TIE Fighter is let's take a look at the cooling panels, because Bandai did a good job on these. Okay, which shouldn't take too long to get out. Let's take a look at the difference between the First Order and the regular TIE here. Another easy way to see the difference. This is the regular TIE. Okay, I'm backing up the camera some. And I've moved things around a little bit, so we have some disarray here. That's okay. Alright, so there's the regular TIE, and there's the First Order. Now, if I put the First Order TIE panels, yeah, it's kind of... Here, let's put the First Order TIE panel down, and then the regular beside it. And you can see the regular is definitely bigger. It's quite a bit bigger. And I actually have a phone call coming in. Alright, well anyhow, I gotta go. I hope you enjoyed the review. I will talk to you later. Well, I missed my phone call, but anyhow. End result is there are a lot of differences between the regular TIE Fighter and the First Order TIE Fighter. So they are not the same model kit. They are not retooled in different colors. Bandai did go through and make them different. Okay? And the one you saw in the movie with Finn and, I can't remember his name, the best pilot in the Resistance, okay? The one you saw there, that one was definitely different. It was a Special Forces TIE, okay? Conclusion, the First Order TIE won't take too long to build. It'll be fun to do some weathering on. Although the Empire always kept everything really clean, so there wouldn't be a lot of weathering to do on an Empire ship. Okay? No minimal lighting, so you won't have to worry about that. The most you're going to have to do is paint some interior parts if you want to try to build it without a lot of paint. Alright, having said that, I'm going to get going. I will talk to you all later.